Hey guys, it's Charlie. Welcome back to Mars Horizon. Our subsurface penetrator mission is about 2 months away from having the payload created. And I just love the description of this. It says, deploy a novel Martian probe which uses the speed of its impact with the surface to drive an instrument deep into the ground, enabling the study of subsurface conditions. What a cool mission. I wish I could see it happen, which maybe I can, you know? I don't think I've done an impact mission yet, so like the cutscene of success on Mars, it might be kind of cool. We're actually doing quite a bit with Mars now. So we were second with the flyby. We're going to be second with the orbit. And this subsurface penetrator mission is going to pay us the money we need to go on our Apollo mission. We need that cash. And I am going to be hoarding cash for probably most of the game. I know this is going to give me research cost bonus, but once we have Apollo researched, which I'm kind of hoping these 2 Mars missions we're going on, okay, the first one, the orbit, will provide sufficient science for us to get Apollo. Everything after that is mostly just let's build our rockets. We won't be able to launch them until we have the pad, but we're just gonna launch, right? We're gonna build them and then we'll launch them once we have the pad. So we're gonna be hoarding money quite a bit here. I still have 2 scientists. Rest in peace, Liam. But if I bring like a new electrician, say Kennedy Martini here, if I bring her, we'll start with +1 power on each task. And we need that, you know, that extra power. We're going to need it. All right, so let's go ahead 1 month. Our funding will be reviewed and increased. Early warning. Images from your observation satellite have proved invaluable in the early detection of hurricane, ensuring the affected region was evacuated in plenty of time. +20 support. Very good. We didn't need it for our funding increase, but very good. Thanks. All right. So Mariner 1 is done. The subsurface penetrator payload is complete. We're going to get more science reward. Very cool. -10 to launch reliability. It's going to kind of suck, but we'll do the best we can with it. We have good hardware, I think, but it's going to be Delta K and... Guys, we're going to be hoarding cash, I said. Didn't I say we were going to be hoarding cash? What made me think that that was a possibility? Silly me thinking we can hoard cash. Like, we can't even launch this. I mean, this will be 67%. We do have upgrade points, though. So we can add 5% to the launch reliability, but then we still don't have the payload. The payload costs more. We're going to have to get really lucky on the payload, I guess. I'm wondering, if I do this, we get 80, but I have to wait like 2 more months to launch this. This is the mission that pays us money. We're going to end up spending half of what we're getting paid. We're only making 2 million here, which is a good amount of, that's a good chunk of change, but damn, I just wish it wasn't costing us so much. Launch reliability. We don't have that much upgrade points anyway. I think we'll go with... Vehicle build costs would be really good to do. I just have to deal with having really low reliability on things. Let's add the extra 5% here. And then with the contractor, we can boost the launch up. But I think more so than boosting the launch, what I really need is the payload to be better. So these aren't great numbers, but you know what else isn't a great number? The build cost going up. Ugh, gross. We're not getting any science on this, so technically using this contractor is just a net benefit. It doesn't actually help us, or it doesn't actually hurt us anymore. Build cost goes up a lot with these guys, so I think we'll go with Keller here and just really hope that 66 is enough. But we still need to wait. You know, we don't have this money. We have to wait 2 months to start this. This is not what it looks like to hoard cash. Silly me thinking we could do that. Gonna do that. Yeah, atmospheric sensors. No more missions. No more missions pay us in cash. So, all right. Now I understand that getting mission rewards that pay you in support is good, but we're in the late game. So, to use an economics term, the marginal utility of support is dwindling fast, to the point where I almost don't care about it as much anymore, because we're getting in the late game, right? Funding going here, that's an extra 50K a month, right? We need 1,700 support before we get there. That's an extra 400 support, which we can get with. We're going to get a bunch with our Mars orbit and stuff, but I just need to hoard cash. I won't beat them to the moon if I don't have the money to build it. So, yeah, Russia gets the multi-crew EVA. I still don't have the money to build this yet, so we'll go 1 more month. ESA gets the multi-crew orbit. That's third. Damn, dude. Oh, my math was bad. Oh, my math was bad. Can I do anything about this? I'm short by $4,000. Yeah, I can go no upgrade. But then I have 72%. Between 72 and 77. Frick. All right, 72 it is. I need to build it now. I need the money now. Okay, this is gonna suck. Let's keep going. ESA just got the multi-crew EVA, and Russia is launching Mercury orbit in 10 months. Like, so this is what I kind of wish I would have done. It kind of backfired. Really focusing entirely on Man on the Moon right here. Like I said, most likely I can beat them if I just focus it. But it doesn't really, it kind of leaves a lot to be desired for the gameplay perspective of things. But they are going to get over here and they'll get science that will just boost this. They won't need to wait as many months to get the Apollo research because they will have gotten all of this stuff. So if I had to go back and play the game again, and we totally will when it's released, what will probably happen is I will focus on these extracurriculars just to get the science bump to here, because that stuff generates more support for them too, which ups their funding. All of that snowballs, right? So this is not necessarily the best decision. I think it will still win us the game, I think. But I don't know if it's not the best decision, right? All right, so Mars orbit. We are going to go ahead and launch this just as our Apollo research completes. Large spacecraft capable of carrying multiple crew members and supporting various activities in cislunar space. Mars orbit. We're actually, ESA is right behind us too. So we really don't want to delay this if we can help it. Thankfully, we don't have to because it's not raining. So 77%, if we can get out of the atmosphere and get to space, we'll totally get this because our payload reliability is 96%. Even if we get this, we're still dealing with an 86%. So the only way I see that we don't win is the 6% chance of critical failure, which, like, middle finger to you, game, if that's your play. It's gone, baby. It's gone. All right, so we're going to be successful here. And we got strong comms on it, too. +1 comms on the first task in the mission. Fantastic. So we're totally going to beat ESA on this. Again, we have 96% reliability here. We shouldn't have any problems getting success. All right, 8 thrust needs to be achieved, and which is surprisingly less than... This is less thrust than we needed to get to Mars as a flyby. That's kind of interesting. More navigational experience, or more navigational units, though. And we start with a bonus comms. So look at this, 96%. How many of these are we going to fail? How many are we going to fail, right? Just think about that. How many? We'll spend the power here. Then we'll spend the 3... Yeah, we'll spend 3 comms units on the controlled burn here. Now, I wonder if our thrust can actually go into negatives. If I hit this really hard, can our thrust actually go into negative territory, I wonder? Do I want to find that out? If I do this, then I do this, and then I do this. I really don't want to do that, though. What I want to do is... hang on. If I get 1 nav unit, then I can get the thrust built up. Because I think... I mean, we're going to need the thrust built up anyway, so... I think the best trade here might be this one. 2 power for this. Spend 1 of them on this, and then spend this one on this. Builds up 4 thrust and 3 of these. That's a good first turn. We shouldn't get any failures here, honestly. I thought that was going to do it. It looked like it was going up really slow, and then it busted up. So -1 thrust there. Good first turn. All right, so next I want to do... 1... Let's use one of our... Payload... More payload there. And let's start using our power just a little bit. We'll take 2 power to get the... not payload. I'm going to keep calling it that. 2 power to get the 2 data units. Then we'll use these 2 data units to get the thrust and nav units again. And then I think I might just use 2 power to put this up by 3, but that's probably not better. No, I don't think it's better. What I think is better, if you look at the trade, this power gives us 3 communications units, and I can spend 3 communications units on 4 of these. Is there a better trade for getting the nav units in order to bust this up? Is there a better trade than this? This is basically spending 1 nav unit to get 1 nav unit and 4 thrust. So this is effectively just getting 1 nav unit for 4 thrust. But it takes 2 actions to do that. Since I already have 1 nav unit, I'm wondering if it's better to just take... It probably isn't. Nah. I think that is the best trade. This for this. The 2 actions that are like that. And then if I did this again, I'd be able to use it in the next turn. But I'd be building up the thrust even more, but then I'm losing my nav units. If I spend the power, then I just flat get 3 nav units right now. And be halfway done with my nav units. Or I look at getting calm instead. Because again, the trade on the 2 power here, the power trade is bad. Unless you do it like this. If we spend 1 of you for this, spend the power for this, and then spend those 3 on this. I think this is a better trade for this turn. We're going to lose thrust, but we already have the setup for this as 1 action for next turn. I was kind of hoping we'd go into the green at some point, but all right. All right, so the setup for this as one action next turn gets us the thrust there. And then the next turn, we won't have to worry about thrust at all. Well, yeah, because this one action will get it for us. So really, we just need to focus entirely on nav units, which are expensive. Like, really expensive. 1 power here. Yeah, this will take care of it. We're not going to have any extra actions for the next phase, but... So maybe it wasn't the most efficient way of doing it, but it still works. Because we have the setup for this as one action, and it just works. Like, we were basically one action away from having it in one turn. Unfortunately. If we had done this, if we had that one extra thing, we could have had this last turn. Because we even have the overage for the thrust. But it didn't happen that way. So, okay. Resolve the turn. We have the power. And we can't fail the next phase. So, like, this 96% is super good. We invested in having really good reliability, so we can't fail up here. And that feels really good, but again, it's because there's multiple phases to this, right? I really wanted the reliability to guarantee success here. All right, research-wise, we've already done Apollo. Very nice. We can try... Let's go buildings and get the large launch pad started, because that's what we need for Apollo. But again, I need to hoard cash here because I need to clear out space for it. I don't know how big that large launch pad is, but I'm going to need it to be built here. And it's $1.5 million to build it. And then it's a lot to clear the land out for it. I'm really hoping it fits right here. I can clear this out for 1.8 and this one for 3. That's really expensive. Maybe not there. Can't do that. There's too many mountains. Maybe it can fit here. This is 700 grand. This is 2 million. We have to spend our entire profits on clearing this out for this launch pad. But maybe it's okay. I was wondering, can I... I was going to say, can I replace this? Because what do you need the medium launch pad for? Like, we don't need the small one. Once we have the large one, you should just be able to use the large one. I get that it's like you wouldn't necessarily want to use the big giant large launch pad for small rockets, but you could. I don't think there's anything necessarily stopping you. Unless this isn't KSP. You mean the engine nozzle doesn't just rest on the ground without a launch clamp? What? Since when? Subsurface penetrator. Vehicles complete. Mission training bonus is decreased by 100%. We want that on science. Optimal and suboptimal launch windows are reversed. Actually, with the reliability being so low on this, I think we want this on payload. Yeah, because this is like crashing into Mars. So I think we want this on payload. We're not going to get any science for this, but as long as we can get up into space, we'll be ready to rock. So we put this at February, maybe just March. I think we go for March here and hope that it's not raining, because if it rains, then we have to wait for a freaking long time. No, man. All right, let's go January, and then we can go March if it's raining again. Frick, I don't know. Maybe we just launch it in the rain anyway. That's such a long time. Okay. On the plus side, though, having the optimal and suboptimal launch windows reversed would imply that this was optimal, these were all suboptimal, and these were all bad. So our only option was going to be November. That's what that implies to me. With our base reliability on the payload being 61%, this puts us at 91. I like that. But I do want the opportunity if need be. With 61, this gives us like almost 80. It's pretty good still. Let's go. Let's go for March. set it up. We're going to have 96% reliability on the payload there too if we launch there. The question is whether or not it actually launches successfully. But, you know, if there's a negative that says -10 to payload, at least we started with 96 as our base. Next mission for the Mars orbit is ready to go. So let's head to the active mission screen and start doing that. Again, we're a little bit ahead of ESA, right? We got 5 months until we are done with this, I guess. But Mars orbit, phase 2. Execute trajectory correction. We need 6 thrust, 8 communication units, and 8 nav units. 4 turns, 3 actions per turn, and we lose a thrust every turn. Okay, we didn't have any extra turns last time, so we don't start with any extra stuff. I'd like to see about getting like a little bit of a bonus for next time if possible. With 96% reliability, I think we should be able to do it. So the question is, though, I'm nervous when I say that because it's like other people are going to see things. You don't have to think about what to speak. I do. That's the problem. Let's take the 2 power here. And then we'll spend these 3 units on these. And then we can spend this and this down here. So that's our first turn. No way. You dick. 96%, man. I'm telling you. Oh, that's beautiful. That's going to help a lot. Good. Give it to me again. Yeah, baby. That's two greens. 2 green success. Fantastic. All right. Second turn. So we can go overboard on the comms and then spend the overboard comms. We don't have additional data. But we can go overboard on the comms with this. That way, when we spend the comms for the thrust next turn, it'll put us at 7 thrust. -1 will be 6. But we won't have to do it again. That's the hope anyway. We may have to do it again. If we don't complete this, if we don't complete it this turn, then that doesn't matter. And there doesn't seem to be a way to really complete this turn. But we can use those extra... Yeah, we can use those extra on this. That bumps this up a lot. But now we can't get thrust. But it's okay, because the next turn we can get thrust. And it will be right spot on, though. Ugh. Crap. Crap. I wonder... Yeah, this would work. This works. It'll be next turn we'll complete this. I think it will work. That -1, though. That -1 will screw us up, though. It won't work because of the -1. So the goal here is next turn, we would have it banked up to spend here. To get 5, that boosts us over. But I won't be able to. Yeah, I won't be able to do that. Because the -1 will put us to 5 and not 6. And if you're not understanding where I'm going with that, +4 here gets us to 7 this turn. But completing it next turn will require us to be at 7 next turn. This -1 means that when we hit this next turn, it will be at 6. Because we're going to lose 1 this time, and then we'll lose 1 next time, too. So we'll end up being at 5 and not 6. So in order to really do this by next turn, I need to hit this turn, too. We have spare power. I could use the power to get the necessary components for this and this. This puts us over our thrust. But it also means I have to do this again next turn if I want to stay over the thrust. which is a bitch. I don't like it. Now, one thing I am wondering about, though, is if I meet all the requirements, right? If we meet all the requirements in this area, because see this little dash mark? Like, I wonder how the order of operations goes. If I end this sequence with all of these, do we still lose the thrust? Or is the thrust a loss penalty for the following turn up? See, that's what I don't know. I kind of want to know that. But it would cost me a spare turn. There's 100% we're gonna pass this, right? Like I know the sequence that will pass this, but I want to pass it with 2 turns left, and I can't do that. I want to pass it with at least 1 turn left, and I'm not as certain about that. 2 turns left, I don't think is possible here because of the thrust penalty. But if I use one of these and get 5 comm units, then send these 5 comm units to get that, what does that actually do for me? Well, it boosts me up nav units. Is this most efficient, though? If I'm hitting this, I'm sacrificing a nav unit and a data unit. And then I'm only getting, really? I'm going to spend 3 of them now to get 4 of that, which is still good. But it also means that I will not be able to get thrust this turn. But I'm wondering if I have enough thrust at the end of next turn, which I will by hitting this, is that good enough? I really don't know. In order to find out, I could just pay for this. And then I can find out next turn. Let's find out. Let's find out if you need to have the spare fuel. Like, if I have all of these done before this fuel ticks in, does it still go negative? I think it does. But we'll find out at the end of this turn, because I will have all this requirements at the end of this turn. It's just whether or not that -1 here is going to force me to the final turn, and I think it will. So, in order to guarantee that we can do this, of course, I have to hit this turn. And then next turn, on the final turn, I will have to hit this again just because I need that 1 extra thrust. I think that's how that's going to play out. So we have 4 power. We can do this easy by just spending 1 here, getting the thrust there. And then the final action needs to be getting 1 nav and 1 comm, and I can't do that in a single action. Hang on. I'm short 1 of the payloads. Okay. So, spend the power to get the payload. Actually, if I do this. No, power to get payload, then this. And then power to get comms. That's the final power. But again, I think this is not going to work. Because I think at the end of this turn, that -1 is going to take the thrust away, even though we meet the rest of the requirements. I could be wrong, though, and that's what I want to test. Okay, we meet all requirements. Okay, good. Okay, good. So that's what that little hash mark means. That little hash mark simply means that if you don't meet all the requirements, we're reducing a fuel. But if you do meet the requirements, okay, good. So, okay, that's good to know for the future. So, great. Okay, so our next phase is in 5 months for that. The Subsurface Penetrator mission leaves in 3, and our funding review is at the end of next month. We're still trying our best to hoard cash because I have to clear land for the large pad. We have $2.5 million right now. Both of these guys have done the multi-crew EVA. So the only thing that's left for them to do is maybe a commercial satellite first, which I would love to do. I would love to do that. I just want to make sure I have the large launch pad as soon as possible. Most likely what happens is they would do that milestone mission. They would do the commercial satellite, and that would give them the funding to properly do the moon landing. I happen to have that extra mission, and that extra mission here is going to give me the cash, hopefully, to do the moon landing. It's $1 million less, but once this is done, once the large launch pad mission or building research is done, then I'm going to work on this, because then I have all the requirements met. I just need to have this. I could do here. I could do these here. They're not as much science, and the support rewards for them. And look at this Venus orbit, right? This gives 460 science over 16 months, right? 350 science over 16 months. You do these two missions close together, and you're banking science huge, which can really push you down this path fast. So, okay. So next month, and then the month after that, we should have our subsurface penetrator launch. Wait, I saw Russia failed something. I want to look at that. I'm going to look at the messages. It looked like Russia failed something. Can they actually fail missions? It looks like they might be able to. I am really happy that this is a nice sunny day, because I really needed that. 81% reliability, 5% that it gets destroyed. So quit it. 5%. Quit it. Don't do it to me, game. Don't do it to me, game.
3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
Video game. Video game. Video game. Video game. Thank you, game. Appreciate it. So, secure launch. Pretty good. Not going to get any bonuses, but we're not going to get any penalties either. Feels good. Let's go. So, back into space we go. This one's going to Mars. So, there's multiple stages in this one as well. Multiple phases in this one. We need 4 thrust. Which actually makes some sense, because this one is meant to crash into Mars. So we don't need to, get orbit. We just need to, crash into the surface. So 8, 8, and 4. So let's see. Again, 96% reliability, because we invested in it. So let's go with just getting a feel for what the trades are like here. Looks to me like I can get a pretty good trade from 2 power here. And spend one of those navs here. I think. I don't really like that trade, actually. What about this one? Hang on. What about... So this is 1 power for 2 comms. Get the 2 comms and the thrust. But then we can't do anything else. So we end up having 2 and 1 and 4 thrust. I don't know about that trade. I mean, I need this, so doing this makes sense, but the last action... I don't want to spend all my power. We're not going to have any... Well... This will be okay. I see it. I see the path forward. That's what you get. 96%. Okay, we're going to spend the extra data units we just got on this. Then we're going to spend the extra comms on this. And then we're going to spend one of these. It's not working out the way I thought. Hang on. If we spend the 2 data we have here, and then spend this on this here, we can then spend the remaining comm unit on more payload. That's more efficient. That's better. And then we also don't have to hit this ever again, which is saving us. We can focus on everything else. I like it. So we don't need to worry about thrust ever again after this, because we'll have sufficient overage to not have to worry about it. All right, 2 turns left. We don't need thrust. If we can do it this turn, great, because having a spare turn is always very helpful. So what I'm seeing here is spending for... If I spend the power, I need these 4. So I'm going to need power here. And then how do I get these 3? I can go here. Yeah, actually this would work. Take these 2 and spend it on this. Yeah. Doesn't quite work the way I thought it would. Hang on, let me look at this for a second. 2 and 2. And then we spend like this. And then we can just pay for this. And then the next turn we all nav. Or we can spend on the nav. The issue is I need these 2, but there's no output that gives you both of them. So you have to take 2 actions to accumulate supply. And most of the actions consume one of them to get the other. So it's like a juggling game. Unless you have power, which like I have 4 power, so the chances that I have to spend spare power to like resist is pretty low, like 4% chance. So we have that going for me, but so theoretically I could just dump my power into this, but that's really inefficient. I don't have any extra communication modules, but if I spend... I don't need this one, though. This is a really nice one. So if I was to go like this, get 2 of each of these... I could hit this twice, actually. And then hit this. But I still need the last turn. What I can easily do it next turn. What I'm trying to figure out how to do it is how to do it this turn so that we have that spare turn remaining and we get the extra actions and stuff. Extra supply for next time. I don't think it's possible to do it. If I spend that, and then I spend this, that's probably as close as I'm going to get. This plus power is as close as I'm going to get. But it's still 2 away on each side. So then next turn, I would need... Like, how do I get 2 of these and have the power to do that? Because I won't have the power to get 2 of them straight up. So if there's a way to get... Focus on one resource and then spend it on the other. Get a surplus. So like this. And we focus everything here. But that's only going to get me 2. And I won't have any extra. So I'll need output. I think I need to use these comm units to get this output. This one is so good. Because it gives only 1 resource that we need in exchange for 4. But we don't have any spare on the comms. This is giving 2 resources that I need for 4 that I don't. So it might be better to do it this one. Now that opens up 2. I can spend 1 now. And then I can actually do... If I do this again, that gives me 10. That's how I win next turn, but... We can't do it this turn. You simply need 1 more turn for this. That's all there is to it. Unfortunately. All right. Unless you give me additionals. That would be crazy. There's no way it gives me that many additionals, but... It would have been kind of cool if you did. All right. So we're left with enough fuel. It's easy. So what I can do now is I can spend all the power. But I want to spend this because it gets me 3 of these. Also gets me down to the supply I need. Then I hit the power here and we're good. I don't need to worry about anything else from this point. So, okay. Resolve the turn. Hey, you got to solve these puzzles, okay? They're hard to solve. I mean, are there ways I could have done it differently? Yeah, sure. I'm sure if you pause the video and just really think of it more often than I did, then you could probably find a better path to that. Wait, am I awarded the money now? Oh, am I awarded the money? I'm awarded the money now. But I didn't even do it yet. You gave me the money early. Before I actually completed the task. Well, that's cool. Kick ass. We got $7.2 million. Vehicle assembly building, or VAB, is where vehicles are constructed and tested before embarking on missions. This just lowers the build time, but it costs money. If I don't need it, then I'm not going to build it. What I probably need is here, but I need to figure out how big this thing is so I have an idea of where I need to remove land. And then we can work on that. I'm still going to hoard money a bit. Mars orbit next phase is done. And while I could... Yeah, after this, we're going for the satellite thing, which involves going to Venus and stuff anyway, but... yeah. So, Russia failed Mercury orbit. So they can fail things. They can fail. That's cool. Is that... Russia completed phase 2 of Mercury orbit, but... I'm confused. Did you fail it or did you complete it? It says you're back here with us now, so I'm thinking you failed it. All right, Mars orbit. Final phase. Let's go. Phase is ready. Let's rock and roll. We're going to beat ESA. Easy. Continue the mission. Mars orbit, 1971, phase 3. 96% reliability, baby. We need 3 of each module. All right. Well, that's actually... We need 8 of each module, not 3 of each module. We could actually spend a bunch of power and just have 3 of each right now, but again, not as efficient. What I think I'd rather do here is spend 2 power, then spend the output of that 2 power to get this, which seems more efficient. And then we could actually spend 2 power again, plus one of the data units, and we'd be done getting nav. I think actually, though, let's spend the 2 data to get 3 of each of these. That's a decent first turn. And we didn't have a whole lot of science, or we didn't have a whole lot of power output for that, so... That was like 5%. I'm glad that it's 96% reliability, though. All right, next path. I think this one is doable in less turns. There's actually some pretty decent trades here. Data seems like it's easy to get with power straight up. We can spend the power to get more of these straight up. And then... if I spend 3 of the nav here, we'll have an overage that we can spend on the next turn. That's not bad. Is it the best? Probably not, but... Okay. So we can spend that overage here, and that takes care of this. So all we need now are these. And honestly, I can just spend 4 power and get it. And we complete it this turn. So why don't I just do that? And we'll have a turn remaining. Beautiful. Cool. Cool. Got a turn remaining. Hey, Mars orbit, baby. Isn't that nice? Martian orbit achieved. We're the second people to do it. Okay. And then the milestone is there. Awesome. It doesn't look like we get any bonuses for spare turns, but like whatever. Lots and lots of support for doing that. I like it. And I committed to it. So, you know, I kept my promise. Don't you love it when I keep my promise? We're not going to get to tier 10 funding yet. It's going to cost a lot to get there. Large launch pad, though, that'll be done pretty quickly, actually. Subsurface penetrators later. Again, I'm just hoarding cash at the moment. New mission request available on Earth. We could do another mission, but I really feel like only doing the missions at the moment if they're going to pay me... Oh. Again? Again? They're going to pay me again. Why don't I do this? Is there a reason not to do this again? I don't think there is, other than the fact that it's just money. But they're going to pay me again. Another 4? I think that's too good of a deal to pass up. Yeah. Another subsurface penetrator mission. Okay, I accept. Rock on. Next month. Large launch pad research completed. There's a requirement to send the largest vehicles and heaviest payloads into space. Rock on. So how big is this thing? How big are you? Pretty damn big. If I can clear those two, I would need to clear the rocks as well. Damn. I'm going to have to move some buildings around here, I think. Maybe I can stick this up here and then move that up and then slide this to be long ways. And then, I mean, ideally, I can fit it right here without having to remove these rocks. The ideal situation is that this 2 million plus 700,000 plus 1,400. We clear this out and we move everything else up. Unless I don't have to move everything. I think I do, though, right? I have to move these buildings up. Because this large launch pad is really big. Another idea. No, because I can't move that lake. I might be able to fit it in here, but I still have to move this. And that's expensive. However, just a curiosity. If I wanted to move this building up here, I could do it. It could do that, and then it would fit right here, right? I think that fits right here. I don't get any bonuses. Actually, a negative. There's 2 negatives by putting it there, though. I'd really want to put it against this. So I have to move the buildings around. But if I resituated them a little bit, I could get away with this. That's really expensive, though. It's more expensive than doing it here. Yeah, it's more expensive than doing it here. So I'd have to clear this out, clear these out, and then restructure the buildings, and I can build this. I have 8 million, so I clear this, I clear this, and I clear this. So by doing that, I'm left with 3.8 left. And then if I move these buildings around, which I might do off camera, just so I don't waste any cash. But if I move the buildings around, I can fit it in here, no problem. And I'll want to do it in a way to where this building is connected to it, maybe. I don't even know if that's necessary. Another thing I could do... Well, I'll play around with this, but I think I need to rearrange some buildings. And then we'll pop the large launch pad in. And once we do that, we're ready to rock for Saturn V. We got all these parts ready to go. I don't think I need any of these. We're going all here, I think. These are uppers and boosters, so, you know, we'll be ready to go with the large launch pad. So the missions that we'll research now, I guess, will be like, you know, Venus orbit, Mercury orbit, things like that. The commercial satellite would be cool as a milestone. Yeah, but that is going to be for the next video because this one's longer. So thank you very much for joining me. Appreciate it. Thanks for your thumbs up if you would be so kind, if you liked the video. And leave me a comment down below if you'd like to. And I'll see you in the next video. I hope it's good. I hope we succeed. We'll see ya. Bye-bye.